Hey YouTube, Girsu here, coming at you guys today with my Orcust deck profile. As you can obviously tell by the channel name, this is my favorite deck. It has been for quite some time. I love playing it, and if you get the right pilot behind it, this deck is absolutely devastating against pretty much anything. I mean, there's a lot of hard counters to this deck, don't get me wrong, but that can be said about any deck. But this deck holds true to its power level, and with cards like Symbol Skeleton, Orcust Nightmare, Galatea, those cards are just absolutely devastating when they resolve, especially Galatea. You know, if you're able to establish a Galatea and you're Babel on the field with like a Nightmare in your graveyard on your opponent's turn, the advantage that you gain if they don't answer the cards is just obscene. So, and I've been playing this deck for quite some time now, and I'm not bragging, but I'd like to say I know this deck pretty well, and I'm, pretty confident when I play against other decks that, I stand at least most of a chance. I mean, obviously Adamantipator and Synchro Eldritch are pretty powerful, but, they would obviously shut any deck down, first turn. But, yeah, this is just so fun to play. The artwork is beautiful, the story is beautiful, the cards are just so powerful, and I can't praise this deck enough. This is definitely one of my favorite decks of all time, and I'm pretty happy to be able to show it to you guys, and I really hope you enjoy it because I put a lot of hard work into building this deck and mastering how I play it and everything like that, so really hope you guys enjoy it. So we'll start off with the monsters. Newest addition to the deck is Girsu, the Orcust Mech Knight. Sorry, there's a little bit of a glare, guys. It's a little dark in my room, so I have to turn the flashlight on my camera. So, but yeah, I should be able to manage. But yeah, so triple Girsu, the Orcust Mech Knight. Obviously, it's an Orcust monster and a Mech Knight monster, but you don't play Mech Knights in this deck. So what it does is when it's normal or special summon, you send an Orcust or World Legacy card from your deck to the graveyard. Then if there are 2 or more cards in this card's column, it's treated as a tuner this turn. You have to do the first thing in order to gain the second effect. So if they ash you, you won't be able to treat it as a tuner. But the second effect really doesn't come up much. I don't play Needle Fiber in this deck because there's way better options. And this deck, believe it or not, is not really a combo deck. It's more or less just like, to me, it's control. But the boards you build kind of seem like a combo deck just because of how absolutely devastating they are if they go unanswered. And if you go unanswered and you're with your full combo, which I may show you in a different video, you win. There's absolutely no way that your opponent is going to be able to play through it and then, come back then the turn after and stop you from absolutely just destroying them with Access Code Talker or Boral Sword Dragon. So, but then plus just, look at the artwork on this card, man. That's absolutely beautiful. So this deck is just so gorgeous. So for the next monster, you play double Orcust Nightmare. Before, you would obviously play this card at 3. I mean, I played this card at 3 before Girsu came out, but that was just for namesake. So if you open like Orchestrated Return, you would obviously want an Orcust or a World Legacy in your hand, so you would want to increase the names that you played in the deck. But as of Girsu coming out, you can afford to play this card at 2 because this card is a brick. Pretty good card, but yeah, you don't want to see this card in your hand. It's a level 7. You're not going to do anything with this card. So, but if it's in the grave, you banish it, and you can Foolish Burial a Dark Machine, any Dark Machine. So, and then it gains attack, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't really matter. Well, I guess it could come up in the damage step if you have Babel on the field. It gains the attack of the level that you sent by 100. So, but that's irrelevant. You just want a Foolish Burial. And also, this card locks you into darks if you activate its effect, and so keep that in mind because 90% of this deck that you special summon, part of the combo is dark. So, but yeah, so 2 Orcust Nightmare. Then you play 2 Symbol Skeleton. This card is just as important as Orcust Nightmare. Basically, what it does is you can banish it from the graveyard, and you can special summon a Orcust monster from your graveyard. So it's just Monster Reborn, but if you have Babel on the field, It's a quick effect monster reborn, allowing you to summon cards like Girsu on your opponent's turn. And if you do that, you can obviously send a card your opponent controls to the graveyard, which is a form of disruption. And you can also bring back Galatea. Use Galatea's effect on your opponent's turn, which is also just as good if they didn't do much of anything for you to feel the need that you're threatened enough to send it away with Girsu. Or if IP was enough to completely devastate them and pass their turn, you do this. Summon Galatea in the end phase, you return this to the deck, set up Orcust Crescendo, and you have a negate again for next turn, and then you just Boral Sword them. Or Axis Code Talker them, and win the game. So, yeah, good card. Also locks you into darks. And then Brass Bombard. This card doesn't come up as much, and I'm honestly thinking about cutting it, maybe just putting in an Upstart Goblin or something like that, but it has come up a couple times where I was actually pretty grateful that I had this in my deck. You just foolish it, and you could banish it from the graveyard, spec an Orcust from hand. Like I said, you don't really want him in your hand, so this isn't really that important, but now that Girsu's out, this is actually pretty decent. So it's also a tuner, but we don't play Needle Fiber in this deck because you don't need it, and Needle Fiber's not dark, so... Then for the last of the World Legacy Orcust things, I play 2 World 1. You don't want to play one of this card because you don't want to banish it off of Gizmek Orochi, or you just want to have 2, because it can come up where the one is banished and you don't want to attach it with Girsu or shuffle it back with Galatea, so you just want the other one. Plus, if you open it, you can send one to the grave and just special summon the other one from your hand. And then, this is also pretty important as well for Lib, the World Key Blade Master. You need a World Legacy in order to use her effects or summon her in general. So, yeah, the card's pretty important. That's it for the Orcust monsters. And for the best normal summon in the deck, I hate to rip on Girsu like that, because Girsu, I don't want to say this is better than Girsu, but it definitely is a lot more powerful. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's more powerful, but yeah, this card is insane. If you can resolve this card, Scrap Wyvern, you can activate its effect like 3 times and Foolish Barrel 3 times. And then this whole combo doesn't even lock you into darks. So you can get your Galatea and do all those effects without even being locked into darks yet. So yeah. Scrap Recycler. You guys should know what this card does. Foolish is a machine, not hard once per turn. So I'd easily see the card getting hit on the next list because they want to kind of promote Girsu, but who knows, And then Partner in Crime, Scrap Golem, the Fridge. Yeah, you don't want to see this card in your hand ever. So for the next, I still play them, man. I still play the Armageddon Knight. I still play the Dark Greffer. Dark Greffer is obviously better, but like if you open Dark Greffer and like one of your high level monsters, just a free special summon, man. Like this deck needs extenders. No matter how you look at it, this deck needs extenders. Because if your normal summon gets hit, you're screwed, man. If you don't have any other follow-up play, this deck is insanely normal summon reliant. So any form of disruption unanswered by you without any extenders or anything, you're gonna have a very rough time playing. And I will tell you that from personal experience. So your normal summon is super important. So yeah, just having those cards just ensures that every turn you're gonna have a normal summon on top of extenders. So now this is where my list kind of varies from other people's lists. So what I play is I play triple Magician Souls. This card is a dark. It is a free special summon, and it's possibly your Pot of Greed in the deck. You pitch duplicate spells or traps or something like that in your hand. Draw power. This deck needs as much draw power as possible. Free body on the board, and it's effect monster, which is even better because you need effect monsters for Galatea and, well, mostly all of your important link monsters, more or less. And then, and then the brick that you have to play is not a brick because you could still special summon it by pitching a card. So, yeah, all 3 of these plus the brick are extenders. So, yeah, you want to play this card. Yeah, Magician Souls. So... And then its cost, obviously, I'm pretty sure you guys should know what this card does. So, And then, I mean, obviously you have to play it. Apprentice Illusion Magician, pretty good looking card too, pretty nice. But yeah, it's not a brick, in this deck at least, because first of all, it's dark. Second of all, if you draw it, it's an extender. Pitch a card from your hand, special summon it. There you go. So that's one of the high pluses, about Apprentice Illusion Magician, and being able to play Magician Souls in the deck is just, it's so consistent. And then for last two monsters, Gizmek Orochi, might as well be called Gizmek Orcust, the Serpentron Sky Slasher, because it's just so good in this deck. Protects you from getting OTK'd, free body. You can attach it with Ding. You can resend it back with Galatea. So yeah, pretty good card. And it also does come up, like if you open this card, turns 0 going second, you just spec this at your opponent's end phase, and that's like a force, you could force a negate out with its other effect. Its other effect rarely comes up, but it can in the right instances, so. Next, last monster, Jet Synchron. No, I'm not playing, Needle Fiber or Mecha Phantom Beasts or any of that. This is for scrap. It's just your free body that you can bring back to make your one card scrap plays. And yeah, basically, you guys should know what this card does, but yeah, it's a machine type monster. You could reattach it with Ding, you could shuffle it back with Galatea, you can use this multiple times. So yeah, it's pretty good in this deck. I mean, it's good in every deck, but yeah, so onto the spells. Orchestrated Babel. Pretty surprised that this card hasn't gotten banned yet, but a lot of people have kind of shut up about it, which I'm happy. Please don't, praise for this card or go for this card to get banned, because this card is just ridiculous, man. Being able to use all your effects twice, basically, and again on your next upcoming turn, yeah, outrageous. This turns all your links and your Orcusts into quick effects. So yeah, sorry about the glare too, guys, but it helps you kind of see the cards better, I guess. So I'm flexing too. Most of these are max rarity or more higher, so or a little bit lower. So, but yeah. So Orchestrated Babel. Then for the best draw card in this deck, Triple Orchestrated Return. Pretty self-explanatory. It's Destiny Draw 2.0, because not only are you sending an Orcust in the grave, which is their home, that's where they want to be, but you're drawing two cards. It's just like opening this with opening D-Draw with Mali. It's just as good, if not, this is actually a little bit better in my opinion, but yeah. So Orchestrated Return. You can play it at 2 if you want, but I like opening it, so a little bit more draw power. Play Triple Allure of Darkness. No explanation for this card. Everything in your deck is dark minus a couple things. So, but you can banish your last 2 Magician Souls or anything else, and banishing your machines isn't a drawback because you can reattach them with Ding and stuff. So, and since your normal summon is so important in this deck, and I cannot stress that enough, how important your normal summon is to need to resolve, you have to play Called by the Grave. You have to. If they ash you, or if they Veiler you or anything like that, and you don't have an extender, like I said, scoop them up. I mean, maybe not scoop them up, but you're going to have a pretty rough time coming back. So, Triple Called by. Next, we got World Legacy Succession. This is searchable with Lib, and it's not bad to open it either because it's Monster Reborn. So, yeah. And then, Speak of the Devil. Got Monster Reborn. So, yeah, I mean, card is just, I will literally play Monster Reborn in every deck. I don't see why people don't play it. And then for just a couple of utilities, Foolish Burial, it's a graveyard deck, and Rhoda, search the dark guys, and yeah, basically means you're playing 2 Dark Grepher and 2 Armageddon Knight, but you're going to search Dark Grepher 9 times out of 10, so. For the last of the main, we got the traps. Not very many. Triple Infinite Impermanence. This card's just really good in control-based decks. It's your hand trap. It's like your Veiler, but it's a little better. Instances can come up where you can lock down spells and trap zones too, or if you're playing against a bad opponent, you can, they'll activate it in a zone that was set in 4 is activated, and yeah, they just, you know, cry from there. So yeah, 3 infinite impermanents. And then the last of the main deck, 40th card, Orcust Crescendo. This card's super good. Opening it is never really too bad. It just means it's, you know, you got to kind of play around it or play with it. Make sure that you end on an Orcust Link or get an Orcust Link on the field again. Yeah. You know, and it banishes too, so it's even better than, you know, most other counter traps, like that are Infernity barriers basically. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. 40 cards, as consistent as possible. We'll go on to the extra. So you play double Ding Girsu. Don't need any more. And yes, I do have Alti. I have an Alti, but it's in my collection, and I don't play it because I just want to keep it as crisp as possible, because it's just, I mean, look at this card, man. This thing is just so sweet. Sorry, I just love the artwork on this deck so much. It's really dark, and I mean, obviously they're dark monsters, haha. But yeah, it's just so sweet. I love stuff like this, and you know, his artwork is great. These are the dual overload ones, so you know, they were cheap, so I got these. But I do have the Altis, so yeah, Ding Girsu, you guys know what this card does. Next up, we got Galatea, triple of her. Yeah, I see a lot of people playing 2. I think that that's absolutely fine. But I just play 3 because it's come up for me, man. I mean, I've had grind games, especially against Salad and stuff like that. I play against Salad a lot, where it comes up. I mean, you know, it's a good card. And yes, I do have the Alti as well, but that is in my collection. So this helps you recycle. This helps you access your spells and traps. And helps you make your Boral Sword and your high link plays and everything. It's a good card. That one, Long Girsu. You play him. I still play him. I think he's good. For your big links, you got Appaloosa. This is easy to make before you lock yourselves into darks with the scrap combo. Boral Sword. This man is just so good in this deck. I think that this is his home. Still, this deck it can make him super easy, and being able to make him with Ding is just game. So, but I still do play the Access Code Talker because see, the problem with Access Code Talker, with Access Code Talker is in this deck, you're going to be lucky if you activate his effect maybe once or twice, because like I said, a lot of it is locking you into darks. So you can't banish, obviously, the same attribute to activate his effect again, so you're really only going to have like darks and maybe a light or an earth in your graveyard, so you're really going to be able to pop 2 cards. But yeah, that's just in there for the option, and it's dark. So Scrap Wyvern, this card's ridiculous, man. Yeah, you can target a scrap in your grave, special summon it, destroy a card you control, you just summon back your scrap. Recycler, pop the scrap recycler, trigger its second effect. This card is great going second too, man. It pops a card in your opponent's field. It gets your golem out of the deck. So, and then for the last of your, well, not the last of them, but you got your IP Masquerena. This card's staple in this deck. You have to play it. Lib's pretty good. And then you got your Union Carrier. Now, I obviously don't play the Buster Lock in this deck either. I do have the card, so I mean, I know I didn't put it in my Adamantipator deck either. I do have the card, but like I was telling you before, I want this deck to be as consistent as possible. And yeah, if you make the full combo, you're not really gonna have to worry about them special summoning from their extra deck, because they're not going to be able to do much of anything. So yeah, but this is just good. You can equip like your darks into it to Foolish Burial them, and yeah, so it doesn't really have as much utility as it would if you were obviously playing the Buster Lock, but it really helps to attach something and equip something from your deck. So, and the last 2 links I play, Nightmare Unicorn, you go into that with IP, spin something, and Nightmare Phoenix. This is where, like, if you're facing going second, you can normal summon Girsu, get your token, and then just summon this right away and pop a back row or something like that. So, yeah, that is it for the deck profile, guys. Like I said, give me, a little bit of constructive criticism. I know that My personal way of playing this deck might not be the exact same way that you play it, but that's your call. Like I said, I mean, my choices of cards might not be the same as yours, but yeah, I love this deck so much, man. This is definitely my favorite deck. And yeah, I'm glad to profile it for you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Please be polite. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Girsu out.